Dear students, welcome to geography class. Today, let's learn the fifth part of second chapter, that is population dynamics. Now, let's check the schema of this session. Today, we have main two topics, that are composition of the population and population pyramid. In composition of population, we will be seeing age composition, sex ratio, rural urban divide, and literacy level. So let's go in detail. So dear students, what do you mean by composition of population? It simply refers to the structure of population and why it is used. The composition of population of a country directly proportional to its growth and development. So in order to measure the growth and development, we can analyze composition of population, how the population of a country works and what are its composition. So these are our subject matter today. And there are few components of population composition also. Which are they? Yeah, as we have seen in schema, age, sex, rural urban divide, and literacy level. So we have to see them in detail. The age composition. What do you mean by age composition? It simply means the whole population can be divided on the basis of age. Is that clear? Yes, it is very clear that we can divide the whole population according to age. So we can categorize those age sector into three, mainly three. Which are they? Yeah, 0 to 14, 14 years of people, that they are called children. That's the first category. And second category, that is from 15 years old to 64 years, they are adults. They are called adults. And finally 65 and above, they are aged people. So in a country there can be three kinds of people according to the age composition. Who are they? Children, adults, and aged people. I hope this is clear. Now let's examine how these categories affect the development of a nation. Yes, the first and third category, third group of people, who are they? Children and aged people. They are known as dependent population. So we know that they are mostly depend on the second group, that is adult. So we can call the second group as a working population or productive population. Why they are called working population? Just because they are the working group among three categories of population. So in developed countries, the proportion of working population is very high, which means the second group is very high comparing to the first and third categories, comparing to the children and aged people. Thus they are economically advanced. I hope you can understand why, because there are majority of people who are working for livelihood and generating income, so that the nation is progressing. And this analysis will further help the government to take care of its kids and also elderly people. The government has to take care of its kids concerning their nutritious food and educational facilities. It's the duty of the government to provide its children a better food and better education. And also the government has to provide or take care of elderly people, that is third group. So government has to have the concern of healthcare and security of aged group. So the age composition will help how many or how far the government has to go or how far the government has to do. So that's the benefit of age composition. I hope you are getting me. And our second composition, that is sex ratio, which means a gender wise analysis of population. It shows how many males are there in a country and also in proportion to the males whether there are females or not. So this is what we mean by sex ratio. So sex ratio means a ratio between males and females in the total population. And how it can be defined? So we need a standard number. What is the standard number? Yes, that is 1000. So we measure the ratio like for 1000 males, how many females are there? So I'll give you an example just down to that. See, according to 2011 census, the sex ratio in India is approximately 943 females per 1000 males, which means for each 1000 males in India, there were 943 females only. Is it optimum? No. The optimum ratio is 1:1. We know that. So then only we can keep up the equilibrium and gender wise in a nation. Now let's check out what is the sex ratio across the world. See, in developed countries like North America and European countries, sex ratio is in favor of females. What does it mean? It means there are more females than males. Then what about the developing countries? Particularly those of Asia, like Asian countries, the sex ratio is unfavorable, which means the number of males are more comparing to the females. So we have already seen that the optimum sex ratio is 1:1, which means 1000 males for 1000 females for 1000 male. So that's about the sex ratio. Now let's move on. The third component of the composition of population is a rural-urban divide. As the title indicates, this analysis makes us to understand how many percentage of the people are living in a rural area and also in urban area. See, today it's around 54% of the world population is urban, while 46% is a rural. What it means? 54% of the people across the world are living in towns, when 46% of the people are living in the rural area. So this is the rural urban divide. I hope you can get it. We will move further. So naturally there will be high urban population in developed countries, which means there will be more people living in the towns of developed nations, and in developing nation there will be more people living in the villages, which means the rural population will be higher comparing to the developed nations. So this is the third component of the composition of the population. The fourth and final component of the composition of population is literacy level. What do you mean by literacy? Yeah, we know that literacy means the ability to read and write with certain understanding. And generally, the economic development of a nation is greatly dependent on the literacy level of its population. So naturally, you can expect high literacy level in the developed countries and also low literacy level in the developing nations. So if you have to improve the development of a nation, then you have to concentrate on the education of that particular region or of that particular nation. So these are the components of the composition of population. We have seen four components: age composition, sex ratio, rural urban divide, and we have seen literacy level. Now let's learn our second topic, that is population pyramid. The population pyramid is also known as age sex pyramid. And why it is used? It is used for analyzing the distribution of males and females of different age groups in a particular country. So by examining or analyzing this pyramid, we get a detailed analysis of distribution of males and females of a country. And it also, this shape also indicates the condition of population in a particular country. Yeah, we will learn more about that. Yeah, the population pyramid tells us about the number of dependents in a country. We have already seen about the first category of people, that is children, and also third category of people, that is aged people. They are dependent on the second group, that is called adults. So the population pyramid will help us to analyze the number of dependent people in a country. Secondly, as we have said, it will give the number of economically active people, which means the second group of people, they are adults. How many people are working, how many percentage of population is earning money. So that kind of analysis also is possible through population pyramid. And thirdly, it reflects the birth rate and death rates. So a pyramid with broad base shows high birth rate, which means there are many children being born in a particular year. Yes, it will be more clear when I show a picture to you. A pyramid with a less broad base shows the low birth rate, and also narrow and tapering at the top, which means coming to a narrow towards the top end shows high death rate, because there are not many people there. That's why it's going tapering, or it's becoming narrow. And not narrow at the top shows low death rate, because there are many people alive there. Population percentage is high there. It will be clear when I show a picture. See, this is a population pyramid given in your textbook. This is population pyramid of Kenya in the year of 2014. See what all data we get from this pyramid. Here we get the population of both male and female, right? That population in millions it shows. To the left side it is males, and to the right side it is female. And towards the center we get the age group from 0 to 100 and 100 plus. So what all data we get from this particular population pyramid? Can you say? Yeah, broad base that shows high birth rate, and tapering end towards the top shows that high death rate. There are not many people living there, right? I hope you get the picture and pyramid and how we make analysis. We move on to the next pyramid, that is of Japan in the year of 2014. Here we see both narrow base and narrow top, which means birth rate is low and death rate is high. And here we see very good percentage of middle aged people, that is adults. So working group is more and earning group is more, thus the development will be high. And what about our nation? Yeah, this is the population pyramid of India in the year of 2014. It also it has got a broad base which shows the high birth rate, and low or narrow or tapering top end which shows high death rate, which indicates that medical facilities are to be put up in our nation. Yes, these are the data we get from population pyramid. So here we conclude this chapter, that is population dynamics. In this chapter we have seen about the distribution of population in the world, and we have seen densely populated regions are there, moderately populated regions, and also about sparsely populated region. We have also seen about overpopulation and underpopulation and factors affecting population of a region. We have seen growth of population and composition of population. Finally, we have come to population pyramid. I hope you could catch up with me. Please go through the chapter once again and learn the question answer that we have already uploaded through the portal. So, thank you.